Hello there, welcome to this week's 10-day trend. We've got plenty of wet and windy weather on its way over the next few days with multiple Met Office warnings in force. I'm not going to go into those now, but for more details you can stay updated on our website. What I am going to do is go into the details of the weather over the next few days and also talk a little bit about the uncertainty that we're facing too. So to start then, taking a look at the bigger picture, here we are on Wednesday, slight ridge of high pressure which gave many of us some fine conditions to start the day, but low pressure to the northwest sweeping in, some outbreaks of rain, this heavy at times, and a squeeze in the isobars too, so some blustery weather to end on Wednesday and as we head into Thursday. A brief drier spell and then further rain as we head into Thursday too. This could be heavy at times. And then it's all eyes on this area of low pressure currently building as we speak out into the Atlantic. And this is where this uncertainty lies, and this is what's going to cause potentially some disruption as we head into the weekend, as it brings in some strong winds, some heavy outbreaks of rain, and it's all being fueled by this very strong jet pushing it northeastwards towards the UK as we head into Friday, and then it moves its way eastwards as we head into the weekend. So a chance of some disruptive weather on Friday and Saturday, potentially into Sunday as well. Some heavy outbreaks of rain as it sweeps in some frontal systems, and also another good squeeze in the isobars, so some strong winds at times too. Now, there has been some uncertainty earlier in the week with regards to its exact location of the centre of this low. This model at the moment is currently showing the centre of the low just to the north of the jet, but there have also been some models that have shown the low just to the south of the jet. So at the moment, it looks like it's going to be on the northern flank of the jet, so on the colder side of the jet, and this could cause some rapid deepening as it moves towards the UK. But some models showing it just to the south, so on the warmer side of the jet, and does mean it could skirt this heavy rain and these strong winds slightly further south. So that's why we are looking at some uncertainty in the detail as we head into the weekend. And there's various different scenarios that we are looking at depending on the track and exact location of that low pressure. So to start off with, I've got a few different scenarios to show you. So this is scenario A. This shows the low sweeping just to across the south and across central parts of the UK, with a 50% chance that this is the kind of story that we're looking at as we head into Friday and Saturday. So this is going to bring in some heavy spells of rain, potentially in some areas we could see between 15 to 25 millimetres, but in some spots, particularly in the west, we could see around 40 millimetres or more in some places. And it's also going to bring in some strong winds, particularly across the southeast. So East Anglia, for example, could see a chance of gales. And to the north of this, still fairly chilly, and could bring in some snow across higher ground. Then we have scenario B. You can see that the area of low pressure slightly shifted to the north. So that means the basis of the stronger winds and the heaviest rainfall, once again changing of location, that the main areas are going to be slightly further north. So this once again could bring some heavy outbreaks of rain between 20-30 millimetres, but in some places, once again mainly in the west, could see 50 or more millimetres of rain. So potentially could see some quite disruptive rainfall as we head into the weekend, but also once again some very strong winds, particularly across eastern areas as that low continues to deepen as it moves out into the North Sea. Another scenario we could also face is scenario C, and that moves the low pressure system much further to the south. So that's bringing in strong winds, some heavy rain once again across parts of the south, whereas to the north, not seeing quite as much disruptive weather here, but once again we could see some hill snow across higher ground. Now, if the low does track to the south, we could see some strong winds, but it's not going to be quite gale force or severe gales as there could be according to scenario A or scenario B. Scenario C, bringing in some strong winds across parts of the south, and also some heavy outbreaks of rain between 10 to 20 millimetres, perhaps 20 to 30 in some spots, but not being quite as disruptive, and any of the more hazardous weather generally becoming confined to the far south. So at the moment, as it stands, it generally looks like scenario A is the most likely solution. But as I say, a few different models telling us a few slightly different stories. And it really depends on where that low pressure sits as to the kind of details in the weather that we could see as we head into Friday and Saturday. And one of them is the heaviest, the most amount of rainfall that we could see over the coming days. So here's our Met Office model to start off with, our global model. And you can see by these slightly more red colours, this is indicating where the higher totals of rainfall are generally going to be located. So you can see it's picking out Northern Ireland, parts of Wales, parts of Northern England and southern Scotland. So if that area of low pressure is slightly to the north, this is where the heaviest rainfall totals are likely to be. However, once again, different models are telling us slightly different things. So this is our European model, and you can see those redder colours, those slightly higher totals, are generally more confined across central areas. Once again, picking out parts of Wales and East Anglia, parts of central England too. That's looking like where the European model wants to sit the slightly higher rainfall totals here. And then we also have GFS, the America model. Once again, it's got those higher totals sitting slightly further north across Northern Ireland, parts of Northern England, perhaps just some higher totals across parts of Wales too. So it is really dependent on whereabouts the centre of that low sits, where we're going to see the higher rainfall totals and perhaps potentially some more disruption here, particularly as we did have some flooding issues as a result of Storm Boris. So this could once again exacerbate those issues as we head into the weekend. Here are the rolling rainfall totals from Friday into Saturday, and I've just popped this here just to show that most of us are going to see some rain into Friday and Saturday. As I say, if that low is situated slightly further south, then this is going to look quite different. But it's just to show that on Friday and Saturday we're likely to see some disruptive weather, including heavy rainfall. And not only heavy rainfall, but we're also going to see some particularly strong winds. This is the area of low pressure as we head into Friday, sweeping its way eastwards across the country. And we can see already by these brighter pink colours, most areas are going to see some strong winds at times, particularly around coast. So we can see here the darker purple showing those slightly higher wind gusts in miles per hour, mainly around the Irish Sea. So northwestern parts of Wales, western parts of northern England could see some particularly strong winds. So a chance of gales, perhaps some severe gales at times as that low pressure moves its way eastwards. And as I say, there are Met Office warnings out in force for strong winds too. So a chance that we could see wind speeds between 60 and 70 miles per hour, may even see a localised 80 miles per hour in particularly exposed spots. And we're likely to see quite gusty weather even once this low moves through. So even on Sunday, seeing some quite brisk winds, particularly around coastal areas as well. So more details for the weekend then. As I say, there is a chance that this main area of rain could move depending on what model solution effectively comes true as we head into the weekend. But likely to see outbreaks of rain by the time we reach the afternoon into the evening. Most of this rain likely to have cleared away. Behind it, generally turning brighter, though we're likely to see plenty of blustery showers, particularly around coastal areas, and still a fairly cold air mass too, so likely to see any precipitation falling largely as snow across high ground of Scotland, perhaps even northern England for a time too. And it is going to be a particularly chilly day. These are the temperatures by the time we reach the afternoon, highs of 9 to 10 Celsius in the south, but across the north, highs between 5 to 7 Celsius. But those brisk winds still continuing, and that is going to add on to the wind chill. So this is more likely what those temperatures are actually going to feel like, particularly if you are in any exposed spots. For the second half of the weekend then, as we head into Sunday, generally it's going to be a much brighter day, plenty of sunny spells, particularly sort of in western areas where they'll catch the bulk of the rain as that low pressure moves through. But we can see, particularly along those North Sea coasts, still plenty of blustery showers moving through. These could be heavy at times. You may even hear the odd rumble of thunder, and likely still falling as snow across high ground too. But in those showers, there should be plenty of brighter spells, particularly in inland areas, although a few showers could feed in towards inland areas at times too, but mostly they look like they're going to be confined to coastal areas. Once again, temperatures fairly similar, highs between 8 to 9 Celsius across the south, 5 to 6 Celsius across parts of Scotland, particularly northeast Scotland. But once again, those brisk northerly winds really taking the edge off the temperatures. So this is more like what they're really going to feel like, between sort of 3 to 4 Celsius. So it is going to be a chilly weekend, more likely to see more dry weather as we head into Sunday, but still can't rule out a chance of a few showers, particularly around coastal areas. So there's the detail as we head into the weekend. So what about next week? Well, I'm pleased to tell you it looks like we're looking at a more settled spell of weather. We've got high pressure building out into the Atlantic. That's moving its way over towards the country as we head into the new working week. So it looks like it is going to be largely settled by the time we reach Monday. So potentially some more drier weather and still plenty of sunny spells to go around. Still can't rule out showers though, particularly around eastern coasts. And as we head from Monday night into Tuesday, plenty of clear skies means it is going to be turning cold, likely to see some frost in places, and we may even see some fog patches too. And it's coming to the time of year as well where that fog struggles to dissipate during the early hours of the morning. So by Tuesday we could see a quite chilly start, some frost and perhaps some lingering fog in places, but generally by Tuesday that high pressure still dominating, so lots of fine and settled weather still as we head into Tuesday. And similar on Wednesday as well, that high pressure still sticking around, so largely settled. The only caveat to this is we might just see a few frontal systems just start to push their way into the outer edge of this high. Now this might just drag in a little bit of moisture, so it might just be a slightly cloudier day. It might be that cloud might sort of be squeezed at times, giving us some rain and drizzle at times too. So it's not going to be completely settled, but on the whole there should be plenty of dry weather around even as we head to the middle part of the week. And on the whole for next week, to start off with, as I say, fairly chilly, quite frosty at times too. May see some lingering fog as we head into the morning. It might just start to turn a little bit cloudier towards the middle part of the week. And it's not going to be feeling quite as cold, but as we see those cloudier skies, that might mean that temperatures struggle. So it's not going to feel particularly mild, but perhaps less cold as what it will do on the weekend. Now, for the second half of the week, as I say, we have got high pressure building, generally meaning that things are going to become more settled. But it is going to be very dependent on whereabouts that high sits as we head towards the end of the week and to start off the following weekend too. Here's one of the scenarios from our European model, which has high pressure generally dominating across the south of the UK. Now, that will allow some frontal systems at times to move in from the west. Notice the squeeze in the isobars too, so it could be quite windy at times. So if that high pressure does sit to the south, we could start to see a spell of unsettled weather as we head into the second weekend. Another scenario, though, potentially we could see is high pressure generally sitting over the UK, and that means once again those settled conditions are here to stay. But as I say, in the middle part of the week we could see some frontal systems just edge in, so it doesn't mean it's going to be completely prolonged sunshine. It might be a bit cloudier at times, but largely settled as we see that high pressure sitting over the country. Another solution that we do have is high pressure sitting just to the far northwest of the country and then low pressure to the southeast. And that means we're going to see more of a northerly flow of air, so it might be slightly clearer, perhaps showery at times, and generally feeling chilly. So you can see just from these three different scenarios as we head into Saturday the 14th of December, it's really dependent on whereabouts that high pressure sits, and that really depends on what weather, and that really means it makes a change as to what weather we could see as we head into the following weekend. So it's going to be quite an unsettled start, turning more settled as we head into the new working week, but still a few caveats as I've mentioned already. But if you do want more daily updates on the weather, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and it's always worth keeping an eye on our website for any warning updates. Otherwise, that's it from me. Bye-bye.